a legal category used to describe biased, motivated violence. Let me say that again. A hate crime. It is a legal category that describes biased, motivated violence, assault, injury, or murder on the basis of certain personal characteristics, such as different appearance. If you carry out an act of violence because somebody looks different, that's a hate crime. If you carry out an act of violence because somebody is black or white, yellow, green, or purple, that's a hate crime. If you carry out because of a different color, a bit different nationality, if you attack somebody because they are from a different country, they were born somewhere different than you, and you attack them for that reason, you speak out in such a way that you are hoping violence befalls a certain group of people because of their color, because of their appearance, because of their nationality. That is a hate crime. What you people are promoting, that is a hate crime. Not only are you here speaking it out, you are putting out flyers throughout the university, asking people to intimidate, to bring about a fear that people will not even stand up for their rights. What you people are doing is a hate crime. A hate crime is also an act of violence against a different religion. So if I were to somehow carry out an act of violence, if I attack a person or a place of worship, but because they believe differently than I do, that is a hate crime. So we're going to come back to the original question. Is speaking out against Islam, is that a hate crime? No. Speaking out against Islam is not a hate crime. How about speaking out against the Koran, against the teachings in the Koran, against this surah, that surah, bringing it out into the light? Is that a hate crime? Burning the Koran, set this thing on fire right here, is that a hate crime? No. No, that is my freedom of expression. I can get a lighter right now, set that thing on fire. It's not a hate crime. It is not an act of violence against anybody. It is not an act of violence because you believe differently. It is not an act of violence because you look different. It is not an act of violence at all. It is an act of expression, not violence. So speaking out against Islam, speaking out against the Quran, expressing my belief, my opinion, my point of view, that's not a hate crime. How about speaking out against Sharia, Islamic law, to be ruled and governed by the teachings, by the laws of Islam? How about if I speak out against that? Is that a hate crime? Is that a hate crime? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm taken. Thank you. It's not a hate crime. It is actually trying to speak out of protection and awareness here in America. Because, see, America thinks that this is not taking place. America has become the frog in the kettle, swimming around as it starts to get hotter and hotter, and they do not even realize it. Just swimming around, until one day you're no longer the frog, you're somebody's dinner. Speaking out against Islam, speaking out against the Quran, burning the Quran, it's not a hate crime. thing calling for the banning of Sharia in America is not a hate crime. Actually, there should not be one person in America that would not call for the same thing. There should not be one Christian, one Muslim, one Buddhist, one atheist that would not believe and vote for the same thing. Ban Sharia in America. Why? Because it goes against the Constitution of the United States. Because it speaks a different set of laws than what is written, what is promised, what is guaranteed in the Constitution of the United States. So there shouldn't be, even if you're able to vote, which most of you people look like you're never going to be able to vote. Even if you're able to vote, this should be something that every person should agree upon. Every imam should agree upon. When it comes to the law of the city, the law of the state, the law of the federal government, to agree upon the banning of Sharia in America. Is that a hate crime to call for that? No. That's right, it's not. It's not. See, the guy in the blue shirt, he's been right on a lot of things I've said because he's agreed. Except for the burning of the Koran. The burning of the Koran, you said, is a hate crime, right? Right. See, some of them have a little bit of brains. They understand there's some things you can say in public, and there's some things they will never say in public. But the bottom line is, everything I've said, there's nothing that's a hate crime. That's just what? That's just American. That is what is guaranteed to me as an American here in America. My First Amendment. That Congress shall make no law. That means Sharia shall make no law. That means BAM shall make no law. There shall not be a form of intimidation. There shall not be anything that shall push me back or prohibit me from standing here or walking down the street and saying what I trust and what I believe in. And that is what we're doing here today. We are here to crush. I did not say only speak against. I said crush this element of fear that is associated with Islam. That we are no longer going to be afraid to stand up. We are no longer going to be afraid to walk the streets. We are no longer going to be afraid to be Americans in America. But what was the topic? The topic was hate speech, right? Hate speech. So if what we're saying is not hate speech, if what we're saying is no way fall into the category of hate speech, then what does? I hold it right here. This book right here. Islam, the Quran, and Sharia should be held accountable for hate speech crimes and hate crimes in America. It should. The teachings here in the Quran push and motivate people to acts of violence. It's not my opinion. It's not my opinion. It's what I what I read right here in the Quran. It's right here. It's what you read in the Quran. It's what you're told to recite daily. It's what you pray to. It's what you trust in. It's what you believe in. And it calls you to commit acts of violence. Why isn't Islam? It's the only main religion known to have a radical element. Why is that? You do not, matter of fact, it's even comical to even think of what? Radical Christianity. I mean, it almost makes you laugh. Nobody says that. Nobody does that. It does not exist. But everybody worldwide knows